Lydia says, how to respond when new guy lowers effort on dates. He invited me to his house on a third date. I said no. Should I dump him? Well, what he's doing, because there's a thing out there. There's a book out there. I don't know if you ever heard it before. It's called The Rules. And it was like this book that some women wrote back in the 80s or 90s or something like that. And one of the rules that they had was 3 dates and then you can sleep with a guy. And so a lot of guys know that women have this rule, right? Where they don't sleep with a guy until the 3rd date. And so by the 3rd date, most guys are trying to hook up. And it's actually pretty normal, especially if you're in the West. Like women in the West, many of them sleep with guys on the 1st date. Many of them do. Lots of them do. Like huge numbers of women sleep with guys on the 1st date. And by the 3rd date, most women will sleep with a guy. In fact, there's some men's dating advice out there where they talk about how most women by the 3rd date will be ready to sleep with you. And so he's probably just expecting that this is where things are going and how things are moving and what's going on. And so should you dump him? Not necessarily, right? You should set boundaries and let him know that, let him know that you have a rule, right? This is my favorite way to set a standard or a boundary, is to let him know that you have a rule and just say, hey, I have a rule. I don't sleep with guys. I don't go over to guys' houses until, I'm ready to be physically intimate with them. And I'm not ready to be physically intimate with guys until I'm in a committed relationship with them, right? And so you're setting a standard, and then you get to see what his next move is, right? Because it's one of the things that I talk about, like Lydia, in my program, the Forever Woman Formula. You can check it out at theforeverwomanformula.com. One of the things that I talk about in this program is what you want to do is shine a light on the relationship that you want to have. And the way that you do that, one of the ways that you do that is by communicating your standards. And so you tell him, hey, I'm not comfortable going over to, and you don't want to be like, you don't want to hard reject him, right? Because he asked you if you want to come over to his place, which he's totally allowed to do, right? That's a normal and natural thing he wants to move towards a physically intimate relationship. If you like him, you shouldn't just dump him, right? Instead, you should say, hey, I really like you. I think you're a great guy, but I'm not ready to come over to your house yet. I still want to get to know you a bit better and, find out more about you before I'm comfortable going over to your house. And if physical intimacy comes up, the idea of getting physically intimate comes up, just let him know that you have a rule that you don't get physically intimate with a guy outside of a relationship. And that's you shining your light, right? This is how you're shining your light. And then he gets to decide whether he wants to continue moving forward with you or not. And if he does decide that he's going to move forward with you, that's great. And if he decides that, he's not willing to wait until being in a committed relationship, that's fine too, right? You get to know who he is and how much he values you and where you guys are at this point in the dating scenario. And you want to be with a guy, Lydia, who values you, who looks at you and sees that you're the kind of woman that he wants to have in his life, the kind of woman that he wants to be committed to, the kind of woman that, and if he's smart, what he's going to do is he's going to spend some time getting to know you better, because he doesn't want to just commit to any woman. He wants to commit to a woman that he sees as a beautiful, amazing, gorgeous woman that he wants to fall in love with and be on this journey of life together. He wants to look you in the eyes and tell you how beautiful and amazing and awesome you are, so that you guys can be in a great relationship together where you're, living this life together, going through this journey of life together, creating an amazing life together. You're partners with each other. And so that's what you want to do. I hope that helps you out, Lydia.